TV, we bring to you Business Connection. My name is Kelvin Tsanga. On Business Connection, we're going to tackle a number of key areas in business, issues of to do with banking and finance, monetary policy rate, interest rate, and many more. Only on Millennium TV, we mean business. Good evening and welcome to tonight's business edition, of which we are coming to you live from Millennium, and you are watching us on Millennium Topstar 95, and you can also watch us on Millennium TV Zambia on our Facebook page. To begin with, we have an exciting program tonight, of which we are looking forward to see how we can dissect issues surrounding green finance. And to begin this work of discussion, I'm your host, Kelvin Tsanga. To help us understand typically into these areas of financial interest, I'm being joined by Mr. Fungai Musana, who's coming from WW, and is our guest tonight. To begin with, Mr. Fungai, good evening and welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Kelvin.
Thank you. I would love to get a bit of understanding here, knowing that this week, on Monday in particular, you had a commemoration that you were making, and obviously you are celebrating Environmental Day. How was it?
It was fantastic, I must say. We had a good time in Bauleni, where the minister graced the occasion, and with a theme, Beat Plastic Pollution. We saw a lot of help from companies that produce a lot of plastics, or that use plastics with their products. And it's good to see that all these companies are coming together to see how can they ensure that we reduce some plastic pollution. And what's interesting, and obviously noting that I'm on a business program, it's actually thinking of how do we ensure that the waste is turned into a product that can be sold. So we had an exhibitor who was actually turning plastic into blocks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were happy to see that, and another exhibitor who had actually making drones out of waste. So I think it's very interesting to see actually the youth are the ones who are running this product. Yeah, so it was interesting.
Okay, I feel like you left me out on this one. Okay, let's start the ball rolling. We want to understand typically the meaning of green finance. I'm sure somebody out there at home or wherever they are listening from, they are wondering what's this elephant called green finance. Can you maybe simplify this?
Yeah, so, green finance it's an interesting thing. I could say sometimes it's very difficult to describe because depending on who you're talking to, the definition will be different. However, let's us track down. I think you appreciate that sometime, I think now over 10 years, there was the Paris Agreement that was signed, and this was to ensure that we promote the environmental education and also reduce on the degradation of the environment, the natural environment that we benefit from. And after that, it was learned that, look, most countries that have highly polluted are actually in the global north. And Zambia and other countries in the global south actually are not the big emitters.
Okay.
So it was then agreed, look, you've done your damage. We haven't done our damage. Can you ensure that you start paying for that? So the countries in the global north agree that, okay, they will be giving about 100 billion every year to support that. And this is where I think the terminology of green finance started coming from, because then you're looking at financial flows coming from the global north to the global south to ensure that they help the mitigation and also to push for climate change adaptation. Now, this has moved. So that more at a global scale. But you note that we are seeing a lot of drive this time around, where companies are trying to push the ESG agenda, so the environmental, social, and governance agenda. And to that, they notice that if a company ticks the boxes for ESG, it's actually able to attract climate finance or green finance. So you note that this is now being used in corporate finance. So you're looking at your equities and debt transactions. We've got green bonds, and I must say that Zambia, and I'm told you were talking to capital markets, I hope they mentioned this.
Yes.
We're one of the countries in Africa, or first countries to ever have regulation that's able to help us issue green bonds. So the directives are there.
Okay.
The market is ready. Enabling environment has been created. It's a matter of attracting green finance to ensure through green bonds. Now, what would happen? Normally, if you're issuing a green bond, and I'll speak to other instruments as well.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So when you look at green bonds, it's more about the use of proceeds.
Okay.
Yeah, and this transactional instrument ensures that if the issuer gets the money, they will have listed things they can do. So, which means that they'll be looking at climate adaptation activities that they will finance.
Okay, maybe just to cut you there.
Yeah.
In a simple term, obviously we are trying to dissect this so that a layman or somebody out there at home should be able to assimilate quicker on this. What do you think has really made this to emerge? What would be the pinning point for us to see that green finance is coming to the fore? What has really triggered the acceleration toward this?
So I think I explained the Paris Agreement. So that's number one. But two, it's the people that want to see a better Earth, right? Okay. And you find that people have created funds out there. Okay. There are some through the World Bank, others IMF, and all these other big multilateral banks. And you've got the Green Environmental Funds, you've got the Green Climate Fund. Okay. All these are there to promote green bankable projects.
Oh, sure.
In Zambia, in Africa, in the world. So you find that one side, there are investors or the savers, and the other side, there are projects that are looking for this money. Okay. And this is where the two are coming together to ensure that there is an environment that. What we've done that as WWF is push that angle of ensuring that we've got a pipeline. Now that's mostly for small businesses, but also we haven't left out the big guys, right? So we've got another program called Dutch Fund for Climate and Development. Okay. So the ticket size is about $5 million.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And we also push that when we get a project, we look at we give them tier support, which is technical assistance, and this is up to about 300,000 euros. And for me, I think that's a good amount to structure something big.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So after we go through tier support with them, we then they then graduate. So they will graduate to getting financing, or at least they should be able to be looked at by FMO, which is the Dutch Development Bank, or the climate finance managers. So the difference between the two, because obviously you're graduating to either FMO or CFM, which is the climate finance managers, what we've done is on-land projects. FMO takes care of that. So when I say on-land, we're looking at agriculture, forestry, agroforestry, and the likes. So again, just by mentioning that, you know that those are the thematic areas we're interested in.
Oh, fantastic.
Then the climate finance managers look at water and sanitation. Okay. So you're looking at your Lusaka Waters, so all the sanitation companies. If we're able to structure a program for a project for them and ensure that they receive financing, they get it from the climate fund managers. Okay. And I can tell you that the ticket sizes range from $2 million to about $100 million. Okay. So I think, look, we have an opportunity. And what we've done as well, because we believe, especially on the WASH, which is the water and sanitation, the projects are huge. Okay. So we are also open to co-financing opportunities. Oh, and fantastic. This is what I was talking about. We can look at what other banks would want to come in. Okay. But at the end of it all, and you brought it out, is can we ensure that the cost of capital is reduced? Okay. So our financing, most of it is blended. Okay. So which means that we're looking at...
So blended means that you also offer capacity building as well?
Yes, of course. Okay. So we're looking at, that's a tier support, but also we're looking at the sources of financing. Oh, okay. So our source is both public and private.
Okay, maybe just to narrow it down here, are you simply just looking at the peri-urban or typical rural areas? Do you have anything that is happening in Lusaka, like, in the central district of Lusaka? Because I attach myself to much of what is happening out there in the rural areas. Yeah. So do you have something that is happening in Lusaka?
Yeah, look, we believe projects are everywhere, right? So it could
Innovation around policies.
Yeah, look, one thing you note, and I think we're proud of the government so far, is that they are trying to create an enabling environment.
Yeah, sure.
So which means that they've looked at all these policies, trying to unlock areas where there's been, it's been difficult.
Yeah, sure.
I think you could talk about the PPP arrangement and how sometimes it has been very difficult to raise financing, mainly because the process itself takes too long. And you see, money doesn't wait for a project many a time, because the owners of money would want to invest as quickly as possible. But if you take 2 years to structure a project, the money would have gone elsewhere because there are other competing projects. So we're happy to note that, and I think the president talks about it almost all the time, is we're trying to ensure that we reduce, right, the bureaucracies, and that speaks to policy. The other issue I would raise is we've noticed that I think the CEC as well, I think that's an area that this is opening up a bit more. And we believe that I think there's good policies and also management going on. But back to green bonds, for instance, the budget last year gave us a waiver, right? Which meant that if you are an investor in a green bond in Zambia, you won't have to pay withholding tax for at least 3 years.
It's got good incentives.
Yeah, there you go. Believe you me, the environment is
conducive.
better. Okay. Yes. So it's up to now the entrepreneurs to come and play.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no time to hide. Look, we are in a debt position. The only way we're going to get out of this is by either pushing the investment angle, increasing consumption, and ensuring that financial flows come into Zambia.
Okay.
Yeah. And for me...
And do you think the green bond will interplay a critical role to unlock the debt situation that we are facing?
So, a quick answer to that is yes, and let me explain why.
Sure.
Yeah. Two things can happen, and I'll give an example of what happened in Benin.
Okay.
Yeah. So they recently issued what we call a sustainable linked bond. Okay. Yeah, which is a variation to a green bond.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the only difference in this case is that it's not a use of proceeds, but it's based on performance.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so it means that the government has got all these nice policies or that are trying to promote and ensuring that they meet the national determined contributions.
Okay.
We can pick objectives from there.
Okay.
And the government will start taking. For having done this, then they get a step-down coupon, which is, if the agreed coupon is 7%, if they meet one of the objectives, even in the NDC, right, the 8th NDC, which is talking to environmental issues, if they tick that, then they get a step-down coupon, so they pay less interest. Okay. However, there is no free lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So in an event that they don't meet the target, then they got a step up, so they pay more. So it encourages government to be involved and ensure that pick up the plastics and sell to the people that who maybe turn them into those guys who are producing goods out of plastics. So already, by selling the bottles, the lower part is done. They would sell, they get their money.
I have a word on that one.
Yeah.
For example, here is a plastic flown in the bin.
Yeah.
Then it's got some hygiene aspect which we need to take care of.
Yeah.
How are they working out? Oh yes, that's also a concern when it comes to health and safety.
Yeah.
Do you have programs that are also centered on building capacity around health issues?
So what we're trying to do, and you bring out a very important point, because we don't want people our children, right, to be going to the Chunga dump site to pick up plastic to sell. Already that's against our policies.
Yeah, sure.
And for WWF, we will not work with a company that uses child labor.
Oh, okay.
So, how they're also speaking to ensure that this kind of financing will help us meet the sustainable development goals.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that speaks now a broader aspect. Green, climate, sustainable financing all speak to the same thing.
Okay.
Right? And at the end of it all, WWF, we believe that we need to have skin in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And how do we do that? These are the programs we have. We ensure that to every project that has the potential of being green, we will help it become green.
Oh, okay.
Once it's green, we will help it earn the money that it deserves. So mostly through investment, through debt or equity.
Okay. I'm trying to look at this. There are times where you want to plant maybe trees. This has about maybe 20 years
Yes.
for timber or anything. Don't you think this has a low appetite amongst our people in Zambia?
Well, investments are different. So remember, and I'm happy that you spoke to the capital markets guys.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what Fungai Musana would want to invest in may not be the same as what Kelvin will invest in.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're looking at forestry, right report, I'll tell you a zero coupon bond, right, green bond, will be the best investment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you appreciate the fact that during that period, the organization that has invested in the forest will not have income to pay, right? Then it will pay after 20 years once they harvest. So the best investment could be a zero coupon bond.
Okay. Okay, maybe just to land up with the one more. Do you think we have enough investing option within this with the use of green bond, or green finance? Do we have enough options on the table as it stands right now?
The answer is an emphatic yes.
Okay.
So I'll start. Right now, the Bank of Zambia is working on a green loans regulation.
Okay.
So which means the banks are ready to give green loans.
Okay.
The Security and Exchange Commission has worked on the green bonds already, and I think would encourage them to look at asset management, which looks at green portfolios. We've got grants for those small companies that may not absorb loans. We've got organizations such as WWF, Prospero, and others that are able to help these companies.
Okay.
We've got hybrid instruments that speak to green financing, and even at a macro level,
okay,
we've got what we call the debt for nature swap as an option.
Oh,
yes.
fantastic.
So even the government is able to actually borrow, and also there are sovereign green bonds.
Oh,
so at each stage, there is an instrument that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we have come to the end of this show. In your last remarks, what do you think of green finance? Obviously, linking it with the available, investment that is there, and also linking it with the ESG principles or mandates. How do you think of it?
First of all, I want to bring out a very important aspect. There is a financing gap, right? So between projects that are green and the money, unfortunately, there is a lot more money chasing very few projects. So which means that our innovators, our entrepreneurs are not doing good enough to attract that money.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I would encourage the viewers, those who are doing business, there is room for them to be funded, especially if the projects look at how they serve the communities.
The environment?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you see, you tell me I love the environment more than people.
Oh.
But no.
Yeah.
The first thing you have to look at is how are you serving the people themselves, the communities. Once the communities are okay, they will not then do the activities that destroy nature, right? And once nature is protected, then nature will protect the climate aspect, because we use nature to absorb the, the carbon cycle,
yes,
right?
Yes,
so
yes,
there's
yes.
a lot of carbon now which is going out because of the activities we're doing.
Yes,
so
sure.
nature will